Yo, parish orphans and retrogrades. Holy cow, that's loud. What's up on a Tuesday afternoon? I hope you're doing really well. I'm doing well because I just saw some art that was commissioned and committed to James Martin's most recent outreach. He does this conference, if you don't know. And that conference is called Outreach. It was a conference that ran from August the 2nd to August 4th for the fourth year in a row, or fourth year total. I think it's 4 out of 5. Pope Francis has sent a greeting letter to James Martin. So the same Pope Francis who would not grant an audience to Cardinal Mueller for months, to Cardinal Burke for months, to Bishop Strickland, all of the people he deems his enemies, he won't talk to him, he won't dialogue with them, he won't do anything. And these are his College of Cardinals, his cardinalate, who are there for his counsel and his advising. When he has a problem with them, they won't hear from him until he demotes them, takes away their apartment like he did to Cardinal Burke. I think Cardinal Burke got it back. Cardinal Burke's been demoted a total of 3 times, takes away the bishopric from Bishop Strickland. The same Pope Francis has now, for 4 years in a row, sent a greeting to James Martin SJ's outreach conference. He's an SJ, and he's such a naughty little pet. And I'll read you the greeting letter. Pope Francis, is really excited for the work that James Martin SJ is doing on behalf of the church. And what is that work, really? I mean, it's outreach to like Homo sapien, Skittles type people. And instead of being like, yo, come in the church, rap with us, or whatever boomers think would collocate a bunch of sinners in the church using fly late 1970s hepcat language, instead of just doing the normal sort of new evangelization thing that you guys know well. Come into the church, Jesus loves you. Now you do have to, they always leave it for the last delivery in the message, in the presentation. Now you do have to give up your sin. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You know, Mark Twain said, if I cannot have my cigar in heaven, I shall not go. Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with a cigar, Mr. Twain. But if you're not allowed it in heaven, then trust me, you want the heaven even without the cigar. Well, so James Martin and his outreach program does not do that. The outreach program, the ministry, care, whatever, minds the P's and Q's in some sense, the sense in which they don't just say, come into the church and keep it up with, laying sod grass down. Keep it up. You can lay as much sod grass down as you want, boys. He doesn't say it that outright. Outreach is not that outright, but it's almost there. It is not calling on the sinner to quit his sin the way Christ did. You always hear that from boomers, like Christ dined with tax collectors and prostitutes. Yeah, but his message was, hey, I came to dinner with you. If you want to be part of my crew, if you ever want to see me again, you quit the sin, you follow me. You become a fisher of men if you're, one of the anointed ones to be an apostle. If you just want to follow me, that's cool. But quit the sin. You don't get to get into heaven and have your cake and eat it too. That never comes. So I'm reading from Vatican News about this conference that took place from August the 2nd through August the 4th, really hosted by the Archbishop of D.C., Wilton Gregory. He loves stuff like outreach. Loves it. It was at Georgetown, so that's why it involved Wilton Gregory, Georgetown University. And it's a conference for LMNOPQ plus Catholics. On Vatican News, it also says, Father Martin, who carries out his apostolate among LMNOPQ community, wrote to the Pope asking if he would like to send his greetings to the conference. Pope Francis sent a brief response, which was released last Thursday, saying he was pleased by the fact that Cardinal Gregory would be celebrating Mass for them. This is what I call a double derivative endorsement. It's the second derivative. You know, it's two removals away from saying, well, I'm glad that Father Martin is basically encouraging you sinners to keep sinning. He just says, look, I'm glad that, and then a factual, like, I'm glad that you chose, like, cushions and cakes or whatever to provide the cupcakes at the event. Or I'm glad that you're having a Mass said by Cardinal Gregory. Or I'm glad that you chose finger foods this year instead of a pizza bar. That's always how Pope Francis, using the Jesuitical casuistry, chooses to endorse this. The Pope says he is united in prayer with those participating in the conference. So he's united in prayer, which you can always be with sinners. This is still casuistry. He said, may Jesus bless you and the Holy Virgin care for you. This is the fourth time that Pope Francis has sent his regards to an outreach event. On other occasions, the Pope has invited the Jesuit priest, whom he has named a consultor of the Dicastery of Communication, to transmit God's style of closeness, mercy, and affection to the LMNOPQ plus community. So he's close with Father Martin. He approves of his work. In other years, he's approved it in rather glowing terms. And insofar as Father Martin outright will interpret papal documents, you have what's like considered neuronal crosstalk. Pope James Martin will, in an outright way, interpret Pope Francis' papal documents, such as Fiducia Supplicans, in a counter orthodox way, explicitly. So Martin will use Francis's work counter-orthodoxly, if that's an adverb. He'll say, hey, Fiducia Supplicans means what you think it means, and this is great. And Francis will do the same thing, neuronal crosstalk. Francis will use James Martin's work and outright endorse it. But Francis never says, yeah, Fiducia Supplicans means we're blessing SS unions. He lets his neuronal crosstalkers, the lefts in the church, Father Martin, SJ, do it. And same thing, Father Martin never says, look, I run this outreach program. It's basically a lavender club. It's basically a hookup joint, right? Tinder for lavender Catholic men. He just says, no, look, well, I'm allowed to dine with sinners. He never says, I'm telling them they must quit the lifestyle, of course, because he's not saying that to them. He's definitely 100% not. But Francis will outright endorse James Martin's pro-lavender work. James Martin will endorse Francis's pro-lavender work. This is how Jesuit casuistry works. All right, so you guys know that. I want to talk about this art. Steph, what did you title the art today? Gross art for weirdos? So at the James, I presume it's commissioned for the James Martin event. Gross art for weirdos. Can we picture that on the screen? Oh, the accompanying art, the gross art for weirdos. That was, here, I want to be looking at it up close on my phone so we can laugh together. Let's enjoy. People used to gather around and enjoy a good smoke together of the peace pipe or whatever. Let's just enjoy a laugh at this gross art for weirdos at James Martin Skittles event is what we should call it. Now you've got Jesus in a hoodie and jeans and hanging out barefoot. And half beard, and he really looks quite black, if I'm being fully honest. Then there's a couple of mans sitting together holding hands, mans holding hands. And there are a couple of womans also sitting nearby holding hands, and they are just every color but the white, right? I mean, look at, are you looking at this stuff?
The freak in the mohawk is white.
The freak in the mohawk with the triangle shirt?
Yeah.
You should get your mic, Steffi. Get your mic. Let's get Steph on the mic. She obviously, people know Steph's style now. She's the one that titled this "Gross Art for Weirdos" at James Martin event. We don't know how this plays with, if this heightens views or diminishes views or keeps views the same. We again, this is our thing. We're like, we like it. We hope other people like it too. Get a laugh. It's gross art for weirdos. You might as, if you don't laugh, you cry. Thank you, Steffi. Pump up the jam and join this.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm trying to work out the mic.
I'm going to turn you up on the top a bit.
Hopefully I have the picture on the screen. Yeah. Gross out for weirdos.
So, I mean, look, this is what you respond to this. Like, I'll run this like an interview. Jesuit casuistry. So Pope Francis will never say fiducia supplicans means what you think it means. He leaves it to James Martin, who said all kinds of funny business and started blessing all kinds of funny papers people, Skittles people, like the day after fellatio supplicans came out, or fiducia supplicans. And so Francis relies on his lieutenants to interpret properly his documents, just like he did with the Mors Laetitia. And his lieutenants rely on Francis to properly interpret their heterodox documents. Isn't it pretty smart how that works? The art also plays a role in that casuistry, because the art's like, clearly, this is Jesus. No, I mean, I don't even want to say it, but this is Jesus hanging out with a couple of weirdos. Triangle-loving people. Oh, and the Pope is kissing Jesus's feet, and it's all meant to be weird for weirdos.